Hello, lovely people. It's Donna Talks. Today we are talking sitcom fashion. I am going to give you 6 sitcoms that I believe you should watch if you are in the industry or getting into the fashion industry. If you're wanting to watch trends currently and the past. Also, if you are wanting to just watch a good show with a bunch of fly ass, in this case, men and women dressing fly. So, I'm not going to give you these shows in any order. I'm just going to give it to you as I get to the show. Let's start with Sex in the City. So, Sex in the City was about 4 young ladies, friends, living in New York in the 90s. And they had great jobs, terrible love life, and could dress their ass off. That's the best way to describe Sex in the City. Sex in the City, the ladies, for me, it gave a lot of mixing of patterns, prints, and colors. I learned a lot of that from them. So if you're looking for that specifically, that is a great show to watch for that. The best dress, I don't know, because for me the best dress, I liked all of them if it was that for me, because you had one young lady who did a lot of the mix and match, and she, like the Sarah Jessica Parker, the main character, she would throw on a tutu with a sweater. That's the famous picture of her from that show. Then you had the other friend, and forgive me, I didn't write their names down, but everybody knows the characters. It was the sexy friend, the one who dated multiple guys, like a lot of guys. She was the promiscuous one. She dressed very sexy, so I get sexy too. So I liked her style. Then you have the real quiet, kind of, tight, they would say tight friend, who was very reserved. Let's say reserved. She dressed it was kind of boring, but it was very expensive, boring clothes. And then you have the other friend with the red hair. So she was more like, when you saw her, you saw her. And it was never like in a sexy way. It was never like over sexy or too covered. She was that girl. So all of those ladies dressed like I dress. I dress all kind of ways. So I don't have a favorite, but I think the stylist was on point. So the next show is going to be Styling Hollywood. I learned about Styling Hollywood like a couple months ago. However, it was out since 2019. And it's only had 1 season. So I don't know if it's going to come back on. You can find it on Netflix. It's basically about a husband and, 2 husbands. And they're married. One is a stylist and one is an interior decorator. And they collaborate to create a company where they dress stars. So you watch that. You watch the making of finding a dress for famous people or, for award shows. It was cool. It was, it gives you a view on how busy you can be as a stylist. They experienced a lot. It's very, very expressive in how explaining to you how it is to be a stylist to an A-lister. So if you're wanting to get into the fashion industry and dress style, dress style famous people, you get a great take what it is and what's required. The next show, so there's no best dress in that, of course. The next show is Run the World. So Run the World was like a very great show. It came out this year in May. It's only been one season. I haven't seen any trailers for a new season coming up, but I really hope that they do come out with another season. That show was about 4 ladies who are friends. Each of them have different types of relationships with guys, but they all have a career, and they dress fly. Like, they each have their own style. You can find it on Stars. And basically they're living and working in Harlem, and they're striving for world domination, women domination, you know. I know with them, I actually thought they were so fly, I had to Google who was their stylist. Their stylist is Patricia. She is the owner of a boutique, Patricia Field, and she also has a gallery called Art Fashion, where she allows selected artists to collab with her, and they make handcrafted, made-to-order fashion pieces. So I actually looked at her pieces in the art gallery, and she has some very creative pieces. So the wardrobe in Run the World gave me urban. It gave me costume designer, which Patricia Field is. It gives lots of color, freedom. It gives color, like colorful. You know, so I would say if you're wanting to be more creative in your style, then I would highly suggest you watch Run the World. And everything was very expressive, including the earrings. Like, the earrings were so beautiful. I didn't Google who did the earrings, but if Patricia Field did the earrings too, she's a bad woman. Patricia Field is in her 70s now, of course. So, but I'm going to learn a little bit more about Patricia Field. I think she is a great artist. So I would say go watch Run the World. Even if you just, you know, if you are a little shy, because it'll give you ideas of what can match and mix together. The best dress, all of them. all of them. I'll believe it at that. So my next show is Schitt's Creek. Schitt's Creek is a comedy, more of a comedy. It came out a few years ago. It's about a wealthy couple who basically loses everything. They have a son and a daughter. And prior to them losing everything, they brought a small town called Schitt's Creek. They brought it out of a joke, the name, right? So luckily they brought Schitt's Creek because they end up going to live in Schitt's Creek, and that was their only asset. So they ended up living in the hotel there. So while they're living there, they're living and going out in the clothes. They took all of their clothes, and they just living in their high-end clothes, living in a country small town. And it's funny. It teaches you about love. It teaches you about appreciation of your family, and it teaches you how to just be thankful for what you have. So it's a great show. The best dress is the mom. The mom is played by Catherine O'Hara, and you know Catherine O'Hara is an old actress. She dresses she dresses to the nines in that show. So the next one is, the final one is Power Book 3rd chapter, Raising Canaan. So that's the new show from Power. It's the 90s vibe. So I love the 90s vibe. I always was into the 90s vibe. I recently, within the last year, started trying to find pieces from the 90s. It's hard to find. It really is. But they give a great example of how we dressed back in the 90s. It's basically set in South Jamaica, Queens in 1991. And of course, you know, it's a prequel of Power. And basically the family sell drugs, and it tells the life of how Kanan grew up, basically. And I would definitely say watch that if you want to be inspired about color, the big coats, minks, big earrings, the big old earrings, any type of fashion like that. Big, everything was big back then, big and colorful. So definitely watch that. It's a great show to watch. It's still running. They're on like, I think they're going on the 8th episode, so it's pretty new. The best dress is the mom. Everybody else, it was cool because everybody else, they wore the Timbs, you know, all the other stuff I described. But the mom stood out to me. Like, she has the fur coat in, the fur coat, mink. It was like, she was very stylish. It kind of made me think, like, did they really have minks that looked like that back then? I don't really know. Back then, I didn't wear minks, so they probably did. I don't know. But I was going to look into that. But it's definitely a great show for those things. Looking at the urban way of dressing back in the 90s. So my bonus, which I did tell you 6, the bonus one is a reality-based show. It's called Next Fashion. I like the show because it gives new upcoming fashion stylists or fashion designers the opportunity to show their designs. So they're in competition, of course. And so the first season they had 18 fashion designers, and this all came out in 2020. And they win cash and the opportunity to launch their clothing line. So you get a little bit of everything in that particular show. You know, some people go back and they bring up old pieces in their new clothing line. Some people are more futuristic. So you get to see all of that in that particular show. And I also like the fact that you have the opportunity to have your own clothing line paid for. So I think it's a great show if you're looking to be inspired, as far as career-wise, if you're looking to start your own brand. Also, just get a history of the fashion, the past and the current. These are my 6 shows I recommend to you all. Please comment if you know of any shows so that I could go watch them in the comments. Let me know what you think about this video. Like and subscribe. Hit the notification button so you can see more videos like this from Donna Talks in the future. Don't forget to go check me out on Facebook, where you can follow me and stay up to date. I post a lot of like everyday things there. So follow me, Lovely People Boutique. And until the next time, stay lovely, be bold, be lovely.